I hit Grandmaster in Overwatch while working full time and going to college. I had less than 2 hours a day to play. I couldn't grind my way to the top the same as others. I couldn't play more games than anyone else. So I had to figure out how to make every single hour count. And that changed everything about how I approached the game. So who am I to tell you this? I'm a Grandmaster tank player since Season 10 of Overwatch 1. I've competed in the Face It League, and I was a former Contenders Trials coach in Overwatch 1. Now I pivot my focus to making content and creating videos to help you all with your climb. Before you even sit down for your session, it's important to be intentional with your sessions. I like to set scheduled time to play my games. This doesn't have to be a rigid schedule, this just prevents me from playing all day. It's also important to take care of your real life health before you sit down for a session. Make sure you have at least 7.5 hours of sleep. That may be more for some people, you know yourself the best. Make sure you eat regular meals and stay hydrated. Make sure you have plans for how you're going to handle your mental health as you play your session. Part of an important session is having a good warm-up. I generally do about 5 minutes in Vaxta, which is the warm-up code, but as you can see on the screen, external aim trainers work too. I personally avoid quick play as my warm-up because I don't find it to be as serious as competitive, but if it works for you, that's fine, just stick with it. Other options could be playing on an alt account. Alt accounts are very good for separating the picture of your rank from yourself. The basic premise of this section of the video is to not let your grind take over your real life. I personally like to set my sessions for 2 hours. For me, anything over 2 hours is where I start to feel diminishing returns, and I don't feel like I improve as much. Before I get into this improvement framework, I want to get into the results of a poll that I sent to you guys. In this poll, I asked what your actual frustrations are about ranking up, and what you feel like is holding you back the most. As you can see, across the 100 replies I got through YouTube and my Discord, the replies were split pretty evenly across all 4 of the options. And my community in my Discord said much of the same. The options presented, like not knowing what to focus on, the mental side of tilt, frustration, and ranked anxiety, as well as the inconsistencies in good sessions and bad sessions, are all symptoms of session quality. Any of these things could lead to a lower quality practice session. So what I want to do today is break down all of these and help you guys get an idea of what you need to improve. And I don't want to completely ignore the people who said that they don't have enough time to play. That is a very genuine concern, and there is an important caveat here. If you're trying to go from a lower rank all the way up to Grandmaster or Champion, it is going to take a high quantity of games. Playing a lot of ranked games will help you level up mechanically, and it will let you see more situations so you have a better awareness of the game around you. But quantity doesn't have to be a long play session of 10 games in one sitting. It can be 5 games per session split over a week. That's actually how I prefer to do it. For example here, if you have a day where you play 10 or more games, you may feel very burnt out the next day. If you played 5 games in one day and 5 games the next day, you're going to be able to take everything that you learned the first day, do a VOD review in between, and build on that second practice session. This consistency is going to lead to better improvement. So if the playtime isn't likely to be the issue, what actually is? You guys said that goal setting and not knowing what to practice is a very common concern. So for this reason, I took some time to make a goal setting sheet. This is something very similar to what I used to use when I was actively competing. This does require knowing a little bit of what your weak points are so that you can focus, but I think that you guys are good enough players to be able to figure that out. And if you're not, I'm going to have more information on diagnosis VOD reviews later. I also want to emphasize that this shouldn't be something that you overthink. Practicing anything in particular is generally better than mindlessly playing the game. Even if that topic is just to practice your aim and not focus on other parts of the game. Isolating the errors that you see is really how you get the repetitions and improve. As it says here on the slide, this goal setting sheet is available for a free download in the description. It also builds on what I believe to be the most important part of goal setting, which is putting your goal into a small, specific, actionable goal that you can put on a sticky note for your monitor for your practice session. If you guys have seen any of my videos before, you should know that I love the sticky notes. Being able to focus on something and being able to pull your brain back into it at a moment's notice is incredibly important when you're playing a high stimulating game like Overwatch. All of this information so far only works well if your mental holds up. But before we dive fully into mental performance, I wanted to go ahead and take a little break here. I know this has been a lot of information. If you feel like you've learned anything so far, liking the video and subscribing to the channel is one of the best ways you can support my content. It helps me out more than you may know. Without further ado, let's get back into the mental performance. Mental performance was one of the things that came up very often in my gathering research for this video. A lot of you all said that tilt, frustration, and ranked anxiety all impact you when you're playing the game. While these are very complex emotions, having a plan for how you would deal with them is important. My goal setting sheet includes a plan for what you'll do when the session gets rough. If you're tilted, I suggest taking a break between games, walking away to get some water, stretching, etc. If you have anxiety over playing ranked, set a goal before the sessions, mute the chat if you need, and focus on something that isn't related to your rank. You can play on an alt account that is near your rank if necessary. Don't lower the rim to smurf, but you can play on an alt to alleviate some of the pressure. I also always have a plan for a loss streak, and I always cut myself off after 2 losses. Unless I'm streaming and the goal is creating content, I keep going, but if I'm playing for improvement and I lose twice in a row, that's when I take a longer break. And as you can see on the screen here, this is a little shameless self-plug. I have some videos on these concepts that I feel like can help you out if you struggle with these. I'll put them down in the description, and I'd appreciate if you check them out after this video. Now that we've learned about goal setting, your mental performance, and setting yourself up for a successful session, this is where we get into the bulk of the learning. As a player with very limited time to play the game, I had to learn how to optimize my improvement outside of the game. The best way to do this is by personally VOD reviewing and watching pro VODs. To start us off here with personal VOD reviews, I like to pick a fight that I lost from a game that I lost. That's not required that you lost the game, but it will help you out in the long run. Make sure this is a fight that you don't exactly know what happened. If it's a fight where they just used 4 ultimates and you guys wiped and reset, that's probably not as good of a VOD to review. So if that's the case, maybe go to the next fight. What you're going to look for in these VODs is watching it from your POV, the enemy POV, or from the overhead. I tend to do all 3 when I'm VOD reviewing. You want to look to identify patterns in your mistakes. These patterns will inform your focus goal for your next session. If you ever need help identifying the mistakes in your gameplay, reaching out to a higher ranked player or a coach can help you out with that. I try not to let my personal VOD reviews go too long. I spend about 15 minutes max on a VOD. I feel like after 15 minutes, you get into some sort of analysis paralysis, where you're breaking down every single fight at a level that is too deep to actually matter in your next game. The larger overarching trends is what you want to look for when you're doing a VOD review. For me personally, this next section taught me the most about the game. It not only taught me how to utilize my time outside of the game correctly, but also how to view the correct way that the game is played. And I don't mean to say that pro players are perfect and they never make mistakes, but they're going to have a lot higher of an understanding of the game, and they're going to have a more correct playstyle. What I recommend doing is picking one player to watch. I believe Wizard Young calls this the role model framework. Basically, the role model framework is that you pick one professional player and you watch a lot of their VODs. And it's important that you question their decision making, write down notes on what they're taking, and understanding their play styles so you can adapt it to your own play. For me, I watched a lot of Hanbin because he plays the heroes that I play, and I think that he's the best at a lot of these heroes. I think that watching a lot of pro VODs is genuinely the best way to improve. I think this improvement even helps lower ranked players. I've seen some people say that pro players are just too good that a low ranked player can't learn from them, and I absolutely believe that this is false. Being able to fully understand what they're doing comes with time, but being able to adapt it into your gameplay can help even the lower ranks of players. The best resource to find these pro player POV VODs is Ob's Sojourn on YouTube. They post POV VODs from every major tournament, and picking a role model to follow through these videos will help you learn things about the game that you never considered before. It's also important that you take notes while you're watching these, but the notes don't have to be incredibly in-depth. Just trying to understand the plays that they're making and why they are making them is going to make you a better player, and in the long run, it's going to help you adapt that playstyle. And I know I've harped on this section for a little bit, but this is genuinely the most impactful thing that I did to improve at the game. Now, to conclude this here, I just wanted to wrap up what we talked about. While there is no one answer to climb in Overwatch, I feel like these concepts, if applied, will help you improve at the game and become a better player. And as you improve, your rank will go up. Thank you all for watching to the end. If you liked this video, go ahead and drop a subscription on the channel and leave a like on the video. I have a Discord server, which I've also linked in the description. My Discord is a good place to hang out, play games, talk improvement, or just to chat. We're about 100 members strong now, and I look forward to seeing you all there. I also want to see your guys' input in the comments. Let me know what part of this video impacted you the most. Let me know if you're going to try to implement any of this into your gameplay. I have more educational first Overwatch content on my channel, which will be on the end card now. Thank you for watching.